B.Ed First Semester Pedagogy of English Unit 1 Introduction to English Language Teaching. Topic 4 Aims and Objectives of Teaching English in India. The English teaching has specific goals, aims, and objectives. First, we discuss aims of teaching English. Point 1. Students should get the ability to understand continuous speech in narratives, commentaries, messages, and passages read out. Second point, understanding the spoken language of native speakers and experts. Third point, understanding the meaning of words and structures contextually. Fourth point, asking as well as answering questions. Fifth point, participating in conversation with good expression. Sixth one, expressing one's ideas clearly and legibly. Seventh one, taking active part in discussions. Next point, acquiring the skills of reading of all types of reading material. Next point, reading short stories, manuals, poetry, novels, essays, and enjoy them. 10th point, interpretation of the written text into simple language. Next point, writing clearly and neatly with correct spelling and intonation. And next point, writing all kinds of letters and applications. Creative writing and appreciating figurative language in poetry. Next point, writing poetry. And next, ability to expand one's own vocabulary. And 17th point, being intelligible to others. And 18th point, ability to use language globally. And 19th, using English freely for all practical purposes. And last point, using English as an international language, link language, source language, library language, and language of technology. In this topic, we discuss goals, objectives, and academic standards as suggested by Government of Andhra Pradesh. The main goal for any language curriculum is literacy. Here, the term literacy is not used in its narrow sense of the ability of read and write, but in its broader sense as defined by UNESCO of the ability of identify, understand, interpret, create, communicate, compute, and use printed and written materials associated with varying contexts. Literacy involves a continuum of learning in enabling individuals to achieve their goals, to develop their knowledge and potential, and to participate fully in their community and wider society. NCF 2005 says that the goals for a second language curriculum are twofold. Attainment of basic proficiency such as is acquired in natural language learning, that is, the spontaneous and appropriate use of language for at least everyday purpose, and the development of language into an instrument for abstract thought and knowledge acquisition through literacy. Objectives of teaching English for classes 6th to 10th. To help them an independent users of language by setting their own learning goals and evaluate their own progress, edit, revise, review their own work through collaborative learning. To understand, enjoy, and appreciate a wide range of texts representing different cultures, ways of living, and genres of language. And the third objective, the competence to listen to and understand conversations, informative passages, stories, anecdotes, etc., and respond appropriately. And the fourth objective, the competence to read and understand a wide variety of reading texts like stories, dramas, information, passages, tables, pictures, charts, ads, posters, etc., and respond orally or in writing. The fifth objective, the competence to articulate individual personal responses effectively in oral and written discourses. The sixth one, the competence to convert the texts into theater activities and sustain linguistic experience. The seventh objective, the competence to use language and vocabulary appropriately in different discourses and social contexts. The eighth objective, to competence to use grammatical awareness while writing and editing. The ninth one, the competence write simple messages, notices, invitations, essays, letters, formal and informal, simple narrative and descriptive pieces, skit, play, comparing, chronography, discussions, dialogues, etc. And the tenth objective, the competence to use language as a tool for knowledge acquisition and its sharing. The 11th one, the competence to use self-assessment tools appropriately, to be tolerant and receptive to his her group's assessment and to improve his her linguistic competence in a collaborative learning environment. The 12th, competence to use language creatively, to refine their literary sensibility and to enrich their aesthetic life through different literary genres. The 13th point, the competence to use language as a tool for knowledge acquisition and its sharing. The 14th one, the competence to use dictionary suitable to their needs. The 15th one, the competence to edit the given passage in terms of discourse features, grammar, and writing conversions. The 16th point, the competence to undertake small projects on a regular basis. The last objective, to help the learners think independently and use English creatively and spontaneously as needed in the real life situations. Objectives in academic standards. We are familiar with performance indicators stated under the ideational domains of grammar, vocabulary, and the domains of skills and discourses. In a holistic approach to language, none of these can be given undue prominence without putting at stake the others. Since assessment is inseparable from learning, it is something that has to take place at every stage of transaction. Grammar, vocabulary, and language skills can be assessed only by embedding them in discourses targeted at a certain level of transactions. Nevertheless, for gaining specificity in stating the linguistic competencies to be targeted at a certain level of learning, these have been accommodated under six broad categories as stated in the sections given below. Broad categories of academic standards: 1. Listening and speaking. 2. Reading comprehension. 3. Conventions of writing. 4. Vocabulary. 5. Grammatical awareness. 6. Creative expression, oral and written discourses. Thank you for watching.